Guys, let me tell you what we're going to do here. We're going to have some fun. This is one of the favorite things around here, and I'm really glad you came out, so thank you. We're going to treat you a little bit to a little bit of fun today. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use guys right over here. You're going to be Group A. Okay, now your challenge, your lofty challenge will be to boost Paris Hilton's IQ by 100 points. And you got to get it done by the end of the week. And this is Thursday. Got it? All right. You guys up here, you're Group B. You get to raise $1 billion by dinner tonight.
Somebody will write something.
No sweat. You guys are blue tar. We expect. We have some expectations, right? All right. So you guys are going to put your heads together in a few minutes. And you're going to write on charts, and you're going to do this. You guys are Group C. How to cure the measles epidemic once and for all by? Oh, it's Thursday. And so I'm going to turn you guys loose on that over here, all right?
The three ideas that we came up with, first one is utilize hypnosis to take away distractions and learn to listen better, and speaking before listening. Another idea we had was provide an incentive. I mean, she obviously sits on a pretty good trust fund, and life has been pretty decent for her. Maybe it needs to be turned around, that not all of that comes to her unless, the IQ rises. Then the third thing was, if we are going to realistically try to increase her IQ, focus in on the weaknesses, find out where the weaknesses are, and try to expand upon them.
We had some really great input from Jeff and Tim and Sarah, so we thought we'd rob a bank because with Tim's expertise in connectivity, we have plenty of credit unions in the room and
bankers. Yeah.
So that would be a great way of raising the $10 billion. Take hostages. Speaks for itself. Crowdfunding. Great idea from Jeff. Trigger massive inflation. Love
Not sure how we're going to do it.
So our $10.
The devil's in the details, right?
Buy lots and lots of Monopoly games and consolidate banks. Trump campaign. I think this was our most favorite.
Yeah.
So accept donations in exchange for withdrawal from.
And I only really got our favorite up there. We thought we would beam everybody to Antarctica because the germs don't live in the cold. We would give everyone measles because once you've had it. However, then we decided we would, because it's touch, you touch those little measles things. We would provide saran wrap bodysuits delivered by Amazon and their drones. And we actually would take also some supply resell, because it's going to be at a premium. They're going to want saran wrap, and we could make their $10 million.
And on top of that, Dan also took care of Paris Hilton.
Although it's not ideal, you just have to clone her twice.
Were the answers different than you might have thought going in?
I realized at some point I started to get realistic and practical, and that wasn't the point. I had to remember this is fantasy.
Yeah. It really is. It's supposed to be fun. Did you find yourself coming up with ideas you didn't think you'd come up with?
Yeah, you got to warm up to it.
Yeah.
And working with a group helps. I wouldn't have come up with the Trump campaign idea. It's working with people and talking amongst the group.
That's the first thing we find here. So when we do the innovation program, we always start off with a warm-up activity. And the warm-up activity are things like this, where you throw some crazy idea out and let people's brain get engaged. And you find out that we were all that 5-year-old kid, the one who used to color the clouds green when they weren't. And somebody told us not to do that eventually, right? But all of a sudden that particular kid comes out every time, and it's always inside of us. So when we do a lot of innovation work, we spend an awful lot of time about not talking people into being Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, because that's not what innovation is. Innovation is the idea of putting people together. Having one idea plus one idea doesn't equal 2 ideas. It equals 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. And I think the pressure for all of society these days is to be Steve Jobs with a better personality. And I think to some degree that's really hard work for most people. We don't see ourselves as horribly creative. I think we're creative in our own ways, but it's not as easy as it sounds for most people. Here's what we know. We know that if you do a lot of studying and you do a lot of research like we do around here, we realize that creative intelligence is a real thing. We're starting to discover there's 1,000, I swear, different types of intelligence. Lorraine, for instance, has this amazing ability to understand and kind of almost on a perfect memory basis take volumes of music and see it. my stream is like this big, hers is like this big. And you find out that music intelligence is real. There is such a thing as music intelligence. People have a higher quotient for it. And we're finding out there's a lot of things, on all of these different things. People are word smart and they're body smart and they're all these different types of intelligences. Well, we also know creative intelligence is a real thing. Start to practice, right? Make the time and effort, right? That's the first piece. Right? And then, let's do this. All right. Now, if you really wanted to start small and start local, here's some things that you can do today, right? Learn something new every day. More and more and more, we're starting to hear conversations around organizations. I spent all day yesterday at Hodgson Yachts. What they wanted to talk about all day long was the learning organization. Not a new concept, folks. Peter Sankey was talking about this stuff 15 years ago. But for some reason, it seems to be creeping into everybody's forefront. Everybody wants to talk about the learning organization these days. Now, why? I don't know. Maybe it's, how ideas connect in some way that we don't understand. But learn something new every day. And write down your list of things to do. You really do where you start. Connect the dots. When you see the connections between facts, you're able to create something that's truly unique, right? See the potential and make a list. Right? Don't shut the door on creativity. The idea of getting into a meeting and you've got a timeline of 30 minutes and you get in and you get out and you're sitting around going, I wonder what we didn't look at that we should have looked at. Maybe that's the right question. What should we have looked at that we didn't look at? Keep a broad perspective. Always try to connect the dots piece up here is always powerful to me because you'll find out that all the things that, like for instance, in business are connected. We were talking a little bit, we were sitting down having lunch and we were talking about the connection between Tim's business and Jeff's business, right? And there is a connection. And to do those things actually adds a creative process to what you do. Saying a whole lot more than you think, right? Are you done? No. Are you done? No. Can you turn over one more rock?
No.
And finally, share your aha moments, right? That's how people get creative, and that's how all of this creativity stuff starts. So good habits, good places to start. As you walk out of here today, if you just take one and you get to work, you'll do a good job. Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.